I grew up in a small town, not too big, not too small though. Once I got out of this town, I kind of realized that life was more than just a bunch of hick old white people that judge you by how you act, look, and dance. All I ever wanted to do was dance as a boy. Going to the dispensary right now. I like to start my days with a little bit of weed, and if I don't have weed, I like to get weed. Yeah, definitely got to get coffee for my Crohn's disease. My favorite ice cream flavor is actually coffee ice cream, which sucks because I do have Crohn's disease, so it's like dairy and coffee, which is just a mixture that's not good for me. I'm Connor Lovette, owner and operator of the #1 podcast in Pacific Northwest based inside of Shed Talk, and current survivor of Crohn's disease. I smoke weed pretty much every single day. I feel like cannabis is such a big part of my life because as a person with Crohn's disease, I feel like I use cannabis in a way that, like, if my body hurts or like I have back pain or stomach pain, whatever it is, I can smoke, and that will kind of just like take my mind off that and allow me to escape. Even like emotionally, when I have anxieties, I can smoke and kind of escape reality and go into my own little vibe, if that makes sense. Going to Craft Cannabis in Vancouver, Washington right now. They do a great job. They gave me 20% off for about 3-4 weeks of my life, so I'm a loyal customer to them. I feel like they have some very good sativas here too, and that's what Poppy likes. That's what I like to look for. I don't like to feel like I'm in the couch, or like the indicas make me too sleepy, and if I'm an all-day smoker, like I gotta find something for sustainable smoking. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll catch a hybrid, but sometimes my girlfriend, I leave the weed buying up to her, and then I regret it because I'm on my ass by 12 o'clock. So that's why we pull up for the sativas. Well, got weed, but talk about ruin the night, possibly the day. Oh, I don't even know what to do. We're gonna have to rebound, probably go get some coffee now. Wow. Who closes a Taco Bell drive-thru? That's the #1 profiting item. Like, nobody walks into a Taco Bell. You feel grosser that way. First time I smoked weed, I was in 8th grade. I had a bet with my friend, and it started in 7th grade, and it was first person to smoke, the other one got to punch them in the face as hard as they could, and I was the first one to break it, and by that point we weren't really that good of friends. In the back of my head, I was like always thinking that summer, like at one point fucking Brendan Winnicott was just gonna come out and punch me in the face. And I was like, damn. I was kind of scared about it, but to answer your question, yeah, it was 13. Probably when I started smoking, I was 16 years old. I was a sophomore on the football team, and one of the seniors was like, hey, we're gonna go smoke after. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I went and I smoked with him, and then pretty much from that point on, it was all every week from that point on, I was like, all right, I dabble in weed. And then when I got to college and kind of was able to get on my own, I had a little bit of my own money. I was like, all right, fuck yeah. It's pretty much every day, Like I said, that escape part is kind of nice, and especially in college when there's a lot of stress. It's nice. The thing about going to a grocery store in a small town is that you see people that you never want to see. It's always like the kid that smelled bad in gym class, or like the fucking guy who picked his nose in math class, and you're just like, damn, bro, this is the most great. Like, why is Tommy Ferguson right there right now? Shout out to you, dude. But I've been at home smoking a fuck ton of COVID. Not like smoking COVID, but like smoking weed during COVID. Back when quarantine started in like March. It started for me in about February of 2020, but back in March, I kind of was just sitting at home a lot, and I was like, damn, my body was in pain at this point due to my Crohn's. I was in the hospital, in and out. Crohn's is an intestinal disease, and what it does is it causes your intestines to flare up at a certain point. During a flare up, just massive amount of pain. I've thrown up a lot, like I lose a lot of weight. I've been hospitalized like twice. The first time was when I was 16, and that's when they diagnosed it. And I went, like, I'm not a big dude, and I went down from 150 to like a good 115 in the matter of a week and a half. There is no cure for it, but every 6 weeks I have to go in and get an infusion of medicine, shout out Remicade, to my blood every 6 weeks for the rest of my life. So far, that's what I'm gonna have to do unless they find a cure, which is why I try to advocate for it, because not too many people know what it is. Like, I get that question a lot, and the more and more people I'm able to tell about it, and the less like stigma that it is around it, I feel like that's where people start to care, you know. I feel like Crohn's and cannabis, a little wordplay there, Crohn's and cannabis, from what I've read, I've seen a lot of people with Crohn's disease be able to use cannabis and CBD to really like help neutralize their problems, to combat those symptoms. And it does do miracles for a lot of people. When I was in the hospital, I even asked my doctor, because I was 20 at the time, and I said, do you recommend getting a medical marijuana card? And he was like, no, there's not enough research on it. Like, our clinic doesn't approve. We don't give out medical marijuana cards. That's when I found out that you had to like basically go to like a voodoo doctor, and they're like, yeah, here's your card for medical marijuana, and you give them money for that. It's just weird knowing that like the actual medical community doesn't really endorse marijuana like you would think, and like there is a lot of benefits to that. As somebody who's like actually seen those benefits, I wholeheartedly endorse marijuana to treat medical symptoms. I'm not a doctor though. Back in March, I just really sat there and I would wake up, start smoking, go on my phone for TikToks. That was when TikTok first started to pop, so I was like, fuck it, these little 6-second, 10-second videos are making me laugh. So I started going on there more, and I just found myself going into like this hole of smoking a lot of weed and doing nothing. So I had this moment of realization, like, damn, I could be smoking weed and doing something at the same time, which I feel like that's a stigma, but also kind of a truth. I think smoking weed can lead you down a fucking laziness hole, but it can also open up your mind to new ideas. It can like show you new creative sides, or it can just help you out in whatever aspect of your life if you use it in moderation. If you overindulge in anything, it's gonna fuck with you in a little bit. So like, if you let weed control your life, it will control your life, and you can just be a fucking bum. That's why you hear of people like, I knew this guy and he smoked one time, and now he's fucking sitting on the park bench at fucking Stabler Park. I had a 7th grade teacher who actually told us that. He was like, yeah, Johnny Appleseed was my best friend in 8th grade, and then he smoked weed and we drifted apart, and I saw him homeless at a park. And I'm like, yeah, probably because he did a little bit more than smoke weed, bro. Like, I think I'll be good. All right there, Mr. Pickens. Try to move on from just smoking weed and doing nothing. That's when I started my podcast, Shed Talk. I knew that I was good at talking to people. I knew I wanted to make people laugh. I thought that until I recorded it, and then I was like, damn, this dude fucking sucks at talking to people. This dude sucks at fucking making people laugh. But once you get over that fear, I feel like that's when your real creativity can start, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm putting it out for me and a couple people. If they laugh, they'll laugh. And if not, they'll talk about it and say they didn't laugh. So it's a win-win. I feel like cannabis was a big part of why I started Shed Talk, because the Shed, I really just started coming out here to smoke. And my friends started coming over to smoke, and then surely I was like, wow, I feel like everybody has a good time in here. It's like I was having so many good conversations in here that I was like, wow, dude, so far every person that comes to the Shed, and people started wanting to come to the Shed, like people that were like, I had no interest in hanging out with, we're like, no, we're coming to the Shed, like, let's hang out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no. But then I was like, hey, maybe if I asked people that I wanted to talk to come to the Shed, they would come, we'd have some good conversations and smoke some good weed. And it's not like a requirement. Not everybody on Shed Talk smokes weed, and not every time we're high. I mean, throughout the day I might smoke a little bit, but that's when you can really tell is on Shed Talk, when I'm just like spaced the fuck out. And I think people that are high are funny, so I'm like, if I make myself laugh, I think somebody else is gonna laugh. Right now, we are approaching the place where the #1 podcast in Pacific Northwest, based inside of a shed, is located. That's right, we're about to tour the shed. As you can see, built in 1832. It's got good roots. We like to keep it decorated in here. We like to keep it a maximum vibe. That's why we like to keep these little lights as a reminder of where we came from. As you can see, this is our memento shelf. We got all these mementos. Shout out to Thomas Huffman's sister for making me that. He got it for a birthday gift. I never got him one back. Right here we got the old bong. Shout out to Gab for the lava lamp. These are all just strains that I've liked to smoke over the years. And then we got the couch. This is where I sit during shed talk. And then we got the guest couch. This lovely pillow donated by the Jake Taylor, #1 designer in the Pacific Northwest. And he's not even based inside of a shed. Yeah, pretty much it. We got the WSU Cougar flag. Go Cougs for all my Cougs out there. Some vintage beer artwork. And we got the Captain Morgan, the famous Captain Morgan in the background. The greatest rock band of all time, Led Zeppelin. And then we move down to Cartman. My girlfriend painted me that, and she said, "Here's Cartman from South Park." So he's no longer Cartman, he is Cartman. We got the greatest, Conor McGregor. People always give me shit for it, but we got the same name, so I'm rocking with it. That's the original Shed Talk Season 1 painting right here. It's an exclusive, again, painted by the lovely Sydney Hooker. As is that. This is my lovely lady Katie. Been with me since like 6th, 7th grade. My girl. So, but actually not my girl. So, this is a sword that was made for my brother, and I took it. And this table right here, this is where the magic happens. It's a little bit dirty right now, but hey, you know, so is the shed. It's what we do. We're authentic. That's why we got dirty carpets, because when you walk in here, you know it's the #1 podcast in the Pacific Northwest, based inside of a shed. We're not in a garage. We're not in a house. We're in a shed. I would say my end game, my end goal, where I want to be is I want to be able to make people laugh on a consistent basis. To look back and say that I made people smile. You know, like I have a good impact on people, whether that's through making them laugh or if I become a fucking accountant. I don't really care. Whatever I do in life, I just want to look back and say that a couple people were like, "Hey, that was a funny guy." You know, somebody say some kind words at my funeral where they're like, "Hey, son of a bitch had it. Son of a bitch had it. And he tried. And he tried." That's all you can say. Hopefully some aliens come in soon, man. I just want to see some mix it up, you know? Like it's getting too vanilla. This world's getting too vanilla, and there's been too many people fighting about shit that I'm just like, come on, man. We don't need to fight about this. I think it would take some nice aliens to come in. Like some cool aliens, not like some fucking or like, "Hey, we've been hiding amongst you aliens." You don't want to see a future where everybody's still fighting. So I like to have hope. The future of weed is hopefully get that shit legalized. Channels like Real Stoners and the Chronic Gals and even this stuff right here, it's like it's opening people's minds to like people who smoke weed are normal people. My local cannabis shop is called Cannabis Country. Like it's a hick ass fucking country store, and you will see people pulling up in all types of merchandise for former presidents. They will be buying weed, and you're like, "Oh shit, I can find a little common ground on that, but not that much else." I think weed will find a way to bring people together, and it will happen once it's legalized on a federal level. At this point, Vancouver has so many good things coming up. Shout out to Vancouver, Washington, not Canada. Got a lot of great artists and people. Go check out Shed Talk, the real Shed Talk, that is. We got some exciting stuff. We got a website coming out. We got merchandise coming out. And kind of like this, you know, destigmatize fucking people who get high. I'm just a normal guy with Crohn's disease. Don't hate me. Don't hate me at all, because I don't hate you. Unless I do. But free Palestine, baby.